And God said, "Let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens." So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. On day 5, God made all the creatures that live in the water and all the birds. Some Christians, who compromise with evolution, say, "See, life comes from the oceans." First, life came from God. It is God who created life. It is God who sustains life. The Bible is clear that without God's active involvement, life would not exist or continue to exist. We are indebted to God for every breath that we take. Second, notice that birds were created before land creatures, yet evolution says they evolved from land creatures. As I said earlier, evolution and biblical creation are incompatible. What is right and what is wrong? You can choose what to believe, but you cannot choose what is truth. This is the first time that anything in creation is referred to as a living creature. Plants have been, quote, God's self-replicating solar-powered food factories, end quote. They were created for food and to sustain life. The Bible does not consider them alive in the sense that other creatures are alive. We need to respect and treat with care all of God's creation, but not all of it has the same value. We must align our priorities in this life according to God's priorities. So while God created multitudes of fish and other sea creatures, it specifically mentions great sea creatures. This would include things like the blue whale, which can be up to 100 feet long and weigh 200 tons. It also includes now extinct sea creatures, of which we have fossil records. The creatures sometimes appear in ancient records as sea monsters or dragons. God created an abundance of creatures. He also created their ability to change and adapt within their kinds to the different places that they would live. God's imagination and wisdom are so far beyond our ability to understand as the edge of the universe is beyond the earth. 21. Sometimes people try to discredit Scripture by pointing out things like in Leviticus 11:13-19 that bats are listed as birds. They say the Bible is in error because bats are not considered birds. This is a case of imposing our definitions on Scripture. This verse indicates that the Bible does not define the bird kind as creatures with feathers and beaks, but as creatures that fly. Using the Bible's definition, there's no problem calling a bat a bird. It flies. We misunderstand many things in Scripture because we import our own definitions and preconceived ideas into it. We must search out how the Bible uses terms to understand the truth that is being taught. The word love is an example of a word that is often misunderstood because we all have our own ideas of its meaning instead of searching what the Bible means by the word. 3. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening and there was morning the 5th day. The ocean and air creatures were blessed to reproduce abundantly. Likely, God only created the heads of the families, and all the varieties we have today came from them, just as all the different people groups we have came from Adam and Eve. This is not evolution, but changes within a family group or kind by the losing of genetic information. Evolution requires the input of great amounts of genetic information, which has not been observed even once. Evolutionists need to be congratulated on the greatness of their blind faith. If Christians had that much faith, we would shake the world. This is the first time the word blessed is used. It is the favor, power, and energy of God to accomplish the task that was given. God didn't just tell them to multiply, He supplied them with all that was needed to achieve it. In this book of beginnings, the word blessed is used 43 times, the most of any book in the Bible except the Psalms. The blessing of God is on His creation. If we walk in obedience to God, His blessing will be on our lives. we will have His favor and His power to achieve what He wants us to achieve. May the grace and peace of Jesus be yours.